Welcome everyone to the final round 19 of the GP4 Offline Championship 2010 season. We are here at Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So the race rating for Abu Dhabi was given a 6.6 out of 10, and of course the driver of the day was given to Joseph Willows for that comfortable victory after jumping Alex Southgate at the first of the pit stops. The team news for next season is that Joseph Willows, unsurprisingly, has signed for Ferrari for 2011. Lotus have kept both drivers, that is Michael Mocho and Roman Quagg, and Virgin have signed two new drivers for the season, Javier Quinlan and Sean Grant, the Irishman, Javier Quinlan, who is an Australian, for 2011, with David Greenwood becoming the test driver. And also test drivers were announced, but they could be found on the 2011 GP4 OC Wikia. But anyway, we are here for the final round. The title has already been decided. Florian Volker won the title last time out at Abu Dhabi. So James Willows, all he has to do is maybe fight for victory in the team here in Brazil. So it should be very interesting to see. Anyway, on the grid, it is a McLaren 1-2 on the front row with Nicolas Gal first, with Joseph Willows in second place. Third place, Will Nella in his final Grand Prix. Sad times for everyone here in the series. In third, James Willows is in fourth, followed by Waze Kuba in fifth place, with Florian Volker sixth in the Red Bull. In seventh place is Felix Sontag, followed by Alex Southgate, and all Mercedes fourth row there. And as we go further down the order, on the fifth row of the grid, Evan Byrne, who is moving to McLaren for next season, alongside Robert Ionescu, another impressive qualifying from him. He will be staying, of course, at Toro Rosso for next season. 11th place is Roland Morgan, followed by Jay McKenzie in 12th. And as we go further down the order, in 13th place is the Williams of Adam Wolff. 14th place is the Force India of George Roque. 15th place, as we go down the order, down towards the lower cars. 15th is Vinny Strachan, who is out of a drive, or is set to go to the DTM, I should say, for next season. 16th place is Sam Thompson for Williams. 17th place is Viggo Holst, followed by Amar Kar, the Englishman, in 18th for Toro Rosso. As we head to the final two rows of the grid, on the 10th row of the grid is Michael Mocho, followed by Jordan Maturin, out of a drive for next season. And in 21st place is Kellen Rice, who is out of a drive next season, but is test driver for McLaren. And on last place on the grid is Roman Quagg, the Frenchman, for Lotus. So that is the grid for the final race of the season. It's been an incredible season, and I can't wait for this race to get underway. So next, let us see the weather. As you can see here, it will be a dry race, unlike last year. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes come the end of the Grand Prix. But an all-dry race, despite a high prediction, interestingly, of wet rain. But anyway, let us head to the grid for the final race of the season. 71 laps it will be around this circuit. I'm very much looking forward to it. Here we are, 71 laps of the Interlagos circuit. Nicolas Gal is on pole position. He wants to get another win this season, like he did at the Hungarian Grand Prix. As the lights are coming on, we now have 5 lights. And the lights are out, and away we go. And who's going to get the jump into turn 1? It's going to be very interesting to see coming into the centre rest. It looks like Joseph Willows has got the jump. And Will Nella's made a fantastic start as well from third place. Gal has made a horrendous start, and he's dropped down to third. And Joseph Willows takes the lead coming into turn 1. And Gal could lose third place to Waze Kuba if he's not careful here. But Joseph Willows and Will Nella have absolutely stunned the field and have gone away from the rest of the pack, and Gal is down in third, as it looks like everyone has come through the centre rest cleanly, as Joseph Willows is already defending from Nella, coming into the third corner, or the fourth corner I should say, and Kuba tries to make a move on Gal but can't quite make it stick. But everyone seems to have avoided contact so far as they come through up the hill into the infield section, but Gal is under pressure from Kuba, coming into the right hand as they head into the infield section for the first time. So here we come through the rest of the field. Byrne in 10th, Moichin, McKenzie, Roque, Wolff, Holst, Strachan, Mocho, Thompson, Carr, Bryce, Turin, Quagg. They're all still in the race at the moment, but Joseph Willows leads. They've already got a big gap over to Gal, so maybe Gal's got a high fuel load. That might explain why he's going so slow at the moment. As Joseph Willows comes down, as he heads towards Young Cow, coming towards the back straight, past that infamous set of crowd. Fortunately, no Brazilians in the top tier. There were loads of them, I should say, in the second tier. Obviously, Gabriel Gomez and Bruno de Barros, but unfortunately, no Brazilians to cheer in this race. But they still got the F1 sounds, the glorious sounds of the cars as they come down the front straight for the first time. And Kuba's trying to make a move on Gal. Has he made it stick? It was coming very close to the pit exit there, or the pit entry, I should say. But it looks like Kuba's made the move for third into turn 1 into the centre rests, and he's done it. And Kuba's up to third, so a dreadful start from Nicolas Gal, not the start he would have wanted at all. And Will Nella is right behind Joseph Willows as they head into the double left-hander before the infield section. Here comes Nella, he's right behind him, but is he going to make a move? Joseph Willows defends, but he can't quite do it. And Robert Ionescu is up into 7th place. What a start by the Romanian. Now Volker is trying to get past Gal. What is going on? Gal must have a problem of some sort, as Robert Ionescu is up into 6th place. What a start from him. And now Volker does make his move on Gal, as we're now on to lap 3. And now Ionescu could take Gal if he's not careful. What is going on with Nicolas Gal? He's got a horrendous car under his belt here. I don't know what the team have done, unless Joseph Willows might have accidentally sabotaged it before the race. I have no idea, or the team's done something. But I don't know what's going on. But as now Robert Ionescu is making his move on him, as I believe that's Evan Byrne making a move on Felix Sontag behind, and Nicolas Gal is down in 6th place. But what a start by Robert Ionescu, and Evan Byrne can't make the move stick on Sontag, coming through the left-hander as they head towards the infield section. So now on to lap 4. Here is Nicolas Gal in 6th place, as he's now got Felix Sontag right behind him. He's now got James Willows behind him, and he's got Evan Byrne, I think I should say, behind him as well. And now Gal could be mugged as we come into the left-hander. Sontag is right behind him, but he's alongside him, and Sontag's going to make the move stick. Coming to the left-hander. I don't know what's going on with Gal here, but he might as well quit the race at this moment in time, because it's not getting him anywhere. And now he's under pressure from James Willows, and Evan Byrne is right behind as well. So Gal needs to pit or something, but he's having a disastrous race so far. And now James Willows is trying to make a move, but he can't do it. Mackenzie's right behind him as well, as Mackenzie going to try and get both. Coming into the centre race into turn 1, he can't quite do it, but James Willows is going to make the move for 7th place, and now Mackenzie's going to try and go on the inside, and he is going on the inside, but he's now going to be on the wrong side. But is he going to make the mistake? He's done it. Nicolas Gal's been absolutely mugged there, and he might be mugged by Jay Mackenzie in a minute if he's not careful. It's going from bad to worse for Gal. I don't know what is going on here, but Mackenzie's going to get him. He's dropped 10 places in just 5 laps. Well, he will if Mackenzie gets past him, and I imagine he will soon, probably by the end of the lap at this rate, the way he's going. But at the moment oh wait, hang on, no it's not. What's happened to Will Neller? He's dropped well off Joseph Willows up front, and Kuba's caught up with him and passed him, coming out the centre S's, and Kuba got alongside him, so Neller has dropped off Willows. So I don't know what's going on there. He's right behind him for the first few laps, and now he's just suddenly dropped off. Maybe he made a mistake that we haven't seen by the cameras. Anyway, we are looking at James Willows here, who is under pressure from Evan Byrne, the Irishman, set to go to McLaren next season. Going to be one of the most interesting signings at McLaren for next season. The way he drives, and considering he has won a race so far, he won the Turkish Grand Prix, could have won the Monaco Grand Prix if his car didn't let him down. But he's side by side with James Willows coming into the centre races. He's set to take 7th place, and he's on the inside, and he's made the move stick. Good move there by the Irishman in the number 96 as he heads through the second part of the centre races, coming out the left-hander over the curbs. And oh, Roman Quagg's in the pits. What's happened to Roman Quagg? He's lost a wheel, and what has happened here? Roman Quagg has lost a wheel coming into the pits, and he's stopped in the pit lane. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but the moment he is stopped in the pit lane, and the marshal is coming to push him off, it looks like. And oh wait, no, his car's got back going again, so it's just a little shove from the marshal, and it's got him back going again. So he's set to go into his pit box by the looks of it, with only 3 wheels on his wagon. But he comes in, and so he comes into the pits, and now the crew does indeed come out for him. So I mean, the race is pretty much over for Quagg, I think, as the team are coming out for him, as they do change tyres on him. So they put new tyres on his car, but oh well, he doesn't seem to have got going here. So Quagg has been left here, and the marshals have just left him in that position. So it looks like Quagg has a problem, or maybe they don't think they can get his car going. But that is an absolute disaster for Roman Quagg. We actually need to really see what happened there, because we don't actually know how he lost his wheel in the first place. But I mean, that could pose a problem for Michael Mucho if he's not careful. But Roman Quagg is currently stranded in the pits on lap 8 of the Grand Prix, not the end of the season that he would have wanted at all. And he's been beaten by his teammate Mucho in the standings so far this season. So are we now finally going to have a replay to see what has happened? But there's his car stationary. So here we are. We're now going to go on board. So what happened to Quagg for him to lose his wheel? Did he have a collision coming into the pits, or what was it? So let's have a look. And was it a battle with any other cars? So he was coming around the final corner. Oh, he had a transmission problem and an engine problem. Oh, that's what it was. And so he came very slowly, and he pulled off. He actually pulled off right in the entrance to the pits, but unfortunately the car still kept going, and that meant he went in the pit entry. So unfortunately the car essentially stalled him in there. But oh dearie me. So it was a transmission problem that caused Quagg to retire from this race. But you can see he came into the pits, but his car was still going slowly, and it eventually came to a rest. So that is pretty disastrous there for Roman Quagg. So eventually it came to rest, and the marshal was set to push him away back to his crew, I should say. And well, unfortunately that actually in the end got him going. But I mean, he was just pushing away, and then eventually he got it going there. I don't really know what else to say about that. But I mean, you can see his car was significantly smoking there. So his problem is obviously terminal, and he tried to come into the pits to fix it. The crew have changed the tyres and whatnot and put, well, 4 wheels back on his wagon. But that has obviously not worked, and obviously, as I said, the problem is 2-terminal. The car's smoking there into the pits that we didn't see actually initially from the onboard camera because the smoke eventually died down. But the crew making the changes, even putting fuel in the car, hoping they would. And you can see actually the smoke does go away, but obviously the problem was 2-terminal, and the crew just left him there. They didn't really bother to put the car back in the garage. But wow, that is quite an interesting ending to this race, I have to say. But anyway, back to the action. So Michael Mocha here is battling with Miklos Gau. He's dropped Miklos Gau? Is that Miklos Gau? It is. Oh my goodness, he dropped all the way down to 30th place in 10 laps. Wow, that is unbelievable. And he's going to be overtaken by Lotus here. He's going to be overtaken by George Rogan if he's not careful. Roke's really trying to get involved on the act. Mocha's trying to get on the inside. Can't quite do it. And now Finley Strachan could get involved. See, I believe he's just got past Sam Thompson coming into the left-hander, and wow, Miklos Gau, he really needs to pit or something. He needs to do something to his car because it's really not working. Evan Byrne comes up the pits as he's made an early stop. Did he have a problem? I'm not sure. Robert Ionescu has made an early stop as well, so it looks like maybe it might be a 3-stop strategy for both cars. Be interesting to see how that comes out come the end of the race. But Ionescu comes out in 20th place, whereas Evan Byrne will come out in dead last. So let's see how that strategy works out in the end. Oh, and here it comes. So Joseph Willows is now into the pits, and Wave Cooper has caught up with him, and he's right behind him. This is going to be a fascinating pit stop battle, and Volker is coming in the pits as well. All the top 3. Now, this is going to be a pit stop battle. Let's see who comes out in front. So will anyone else come into the pits and stop Joseph Willows or any of the others, or any of these 3 drivers coming out? That'll be interesting to see. So Volker now comes into his box. Cooper's into his box. Who is going to come out in front? Looks like Joseph Willows has got himself back going, and Michael Mocha has been caught up, and unfortunately looks like he'll have to retire. And Joseph Willows has got out in front of Cooper, and Volker has come out behind in 3rd. But unfortunately for Mocha, his race is going to be over as well, as he's unfortunately stuck behind Quark there. So that is unfortunate for him. But Cooper rejoins behind Joseph Willows, so where will they come out? So it looks like Joseph Willows will come out in 4th place by the looks of it, coming out of the pit stops, coming out the centre rest. Or is he going to come out? Just going to come out, I think it's just ahead of Alex Southgate, just enough, and Southgate tries to make the move. Joseph Willows defends, going to the left-hander, but now that'll give Wade Cooper a chance to catch up. Gal now down to, well, he's up to 11th now, but he won't be for long, as now Amar Carr and Aaron Wolf are right behind him, coming into the left-hander. And is he going to make the move? No, he doesn't. Carr will wait behind Wolf to see if he can make the move, and now there's a Virgin behind him as well. That won't make it any better, as now Will Neller comes to the pits for his first stop of the Grand Prix. Will Neller's final race of the season. Sad times for us all, for the whole championship, as he comes in to the pits. So Nella, who had made a fantastic start initially, he was right behind Joseph Willows for the first few laps, but then Cooper caught up with him and passed him. So let's see where he will come out and how far behind he is behind the 2 up front. And let's see, so it looks like he has come out behind both Cooper, Willows, and obviously Southgate, who I don't believe has made a stop yet. But Nella comes out in 8th place. So has he come out behind both Red Bulls? He might have done. We'll see. It was an 8.3 second stop in the end, but Will Nella comes out of the pits, and now here is Florian Volker, who's stuck behind Viggo Holst here in the Sauber. It looks like there might be a bit of rain on the screen here, but I don't think that's going to have much of an effect. But it's not having much of an effect at the moment. But it does look pretty cloudy here, so let's see if that does have an effect or not come the end of the race. It looks like there is a bit of rain on the screen, as Volker tries to make his move on Holst, coming into the center S's, but he can't quite make the move stick as they come out the exit of center S's, and surely Volker's going to make a move coming into the double left-hander. And it's going to be the slipstream. He's going to get in the slipstream, and he's going to make the move coming into the corner. And is he going to make it? Holst really defends, but Volker can't quite make the move stick there. So good defending there from Viggo Holst, although it won't matter because Volker will get past him soon. And now here's the battle for the lead. Is this Wade Cooper overtaking Joseph Willows for the lead of the race? It is. And Wade Cooper is going to take the lead of the Grand Prix from Joseph Willows. What a race it's been from Cooper so far. He got past Will Nell at the start. He's now caught up to Joseph Willows. Was right behind him in the pit stops. And now he has passed him for the lead of the race. As now Alex Southgate comes in for his first stop of the race. So let's see how quick this stop will be for him. The Red Bull mechanics, I think, have just gone back into the garage. Let's see how quick this stop will be for Alex Southgate. Southgate, who initially we thought was being beaten comprehensively by his teammate Felix Sontag. And as it turns out, by the looks of it, it looks like Southgate will actually pip Sontag in the standings due to that first and second place they had in Korea and Japan. So anyway, Carr comes into the pits for his stop, but will he get stuck behind Michael Mocha, who's blocking his exit here? We will see. So let's see how this goes for Amar Carr. Will he get blocked? And yes, he does. And unfortunately, Amar Carr's going to get stuck behind his car at this rate, as Carr is really trying to push him out of the way here, and he's really pushing him, and he's just about, I think, got him. He needs to just reverse back and then give him a whole big punt, otherwise he'll knock his car, and he does actually get past the Lotus there, but that has delayed Car's race pretty significantly, unfortunately, as Michael Mocho is trying to get himself into the pits there, but he's actually got himself going again, so Michael Mocho will get himself going, although he is several laps behind. So, I mean, he'll just be doing installation laps now for the rest of the race. And, well, it depends if Quark's car will actually move from that spot. But anyway, he comes out the pit 7.8 second stop. Although he's been in the pit lane for, it says, 16 minutes and 39 seconds. So, I think he was having his lunch break there, Mocho, during an F1 race. But that wouldn't surprise me considering how crazy he is. As now Waze Kuba comes in for another stop for Ferrari, taking the lead of the race. It still looks pretty cloudy. It still looks pretty ominous over Interlagos. It has been known for its wet weather in the OC and obviously in real life, known to have hosted a number of fantastic races. That's why we all think in this year's calendar in 2017 and the years above that really we think that Interlagos should be the final race of the season. As now Joseph Willows is also in the pits behind, but Kuba obviously will still get out in front. So Joseph Willows will come up behind Kuba. Let's see if he can catch up after the stop if he has any pace left in that McLaren. So he comes out the pits in 5th. Waze Kuba will come out in 4th. He'll come up behind James Willows. So they're on lap 31 of 71 of this Brazilian Grand Prix, the final race of the season. As he comes out just ahead of Miklos Gau, and Joseph Willows will come out just behind Miklos Gau. Well, actually, he'll come out behind Robert Ionescu as well, so that won't help Joseph Willows' case at all. So it's actually worked out very well for Kuba after that stop, as now Florian Volker, the 2010 champion, comes into the pits. Volker, who will want to at least probably just try and beat his teammate for pride, really, in this race, having beaten him already in the title fight, but beating him again in this race would probably, it wouldn't make James Willows very happy. I mean, it certainly would not make him happy at all. I mean, considering the fact that James Willows has actually won more races than Volker this season. Willows has won 5 compared to Volker's 4, but Volker has been so much more consistent than James Willows has, and even when James Willows has won, when Volker's had a retirement or two, which has been rare this season, still the consistency of Volker is very important, and Volker has actually come out ahead of Joseph Willows. So Florian Volker has actually jumped Joseph Willows in the pit stops. So he's been held up by his teammate Gal, who has been annoying everyone in this race so far by holding up everyone by dropping the field down the field, I should say, like a stone. And now Joseph Willows is trying to make a move coming onto the straight past the fans as he makes the move coming into center S's, and he makes the move for 5th place. But unfortunately for Joseph Willows, now he needs to catch up to Volker in front of him, as obviously Volker has just come out the pits. Volker will also be on fresher tyres, so that will give him an advantage, as McKenzie's now right behind Gal. There is now Robert Ionescu's in the pits. Unfortunately, he will be delayed by by Quark's car, as that is out the way. As Ionescu comes out, it's not been a fantastic season for Ionescu. Many people were thinking that he might not even still be in a seat after just one season of the OC. But fortunately, he is still in the seat alongside Almar Carr, but it's just not really been Toro Rosso's season, in all honesty. But let's hope that next season will be even better for them, as Robert Ionescu comes out in 12th place. And Joseph Willows is out. Joseph Willows has crashed out of the race. That is his 6th retirement in 7 races, and Joseph Willows, his chance of a win was probably already gone, but now his chance of a podium is also gone, as he steers his car towards the wall, probably in frustration, as he hits the wall there and loses both his wheels now. So Joseph Willows, unfortunately, out of this Grand Prix, and I mean, I don't even know why. Was it a crash? Was it a mechanical failure? It was it was a crash. Very unusual to have crashes in this part of the infield section, in the first part of it. So he seemed to be coming through there okay. But as it came to the left hand, he got well offline, and unfortunately just went straight into the barriers there. A bad mistake by Joseph Willows there. Very, very frustrating. Unfortunately, that probably sums up his season there. It's just not been his season at all. Unfortunately, as I said, 6 retirements in the last 7 races, and that obviously that race that he did finish in Abu Dhabi was the one he actually won. So I mean, it could have been such a better season for Willows. I mean, his only other win, of course, this season was in the German Grand Prix, where he won that pretty comfortably, and he won obviously Abu Dhabi very comfortably. But aside from that, luck has just not been on his side next season. I'll be very interested to see if that does change alongside Waze Kuba next season at Ferrari, with Evan Byrne taking Willows' seat at McLaren for next season. The worst kept secret in Formula 1, everyone was saying. I think probably everyone knew after Evan Byrne was announced at McLaren. As now Will Neller comes into the pits for another stop, as it looks like there's going to be a number of drivers in on this lap. Let's see how quick the stop will be for the Englishman. Will he make another stop before the end of the race? I'm not sure. It'll be probably quite close. I think he'll probably make just one more stop. As Nella comes out the pits, he'll drop back to 4th. A 7.7 second stop from the Ferrari crew. Drop down to 5th, actually. As Felix Sonda will go past him because Gao is in the pits and Evan Byrne is also in the pits behind him. So let's see who will get out in front. A battle between a Renault and a McLaren. Who will win? That'll be interesting to see. So Gao comes into the pits. And it looks like he's probably going to go to the end of the race with all that fuel that he's put on board. Doesn't look like he'll probably pit again. But Gao, will he come out ahead of Byrne? It does look like it, or is it? I haven't seen Gal, so I think as Gal dropped behind him, I think he has. I haven't seen Gal, and it looks like Evan Byrne has jumped him in the stops, so it couldn't really get any worse for Gal. And yes, it has, so Evan Byrne has jumped Gal in the stops. If it really couldn't get any worse for Gal, sorry, it has, as now Evan Byrne has jumped him in the stops. So I wonder if Gal will even get a point from this race. I mean, instead he'll finish above Joseph Willows in the championship, but he'll wanted to have got that 3rd place in the championship, but it doesn't look like it is going to happen now, unfortunately, as luck has just not been on his side, or at least his car has not been on his side today, as he's struggled with pace since the start of the race. And now this is James Willows, and oh, that was very close there between, I think that was Waze Kuba, and he nearly swiped him out the way there as there's traffic battling in front of Kuba and Willows, as Kuba goes around the outside of Michael Mocho. And that was nearly a scary encounter there for Kuba. He came cut right in front of Willows just after he'd overtaken him. That could have gone much, much worse, but fortunately no damage was done. And unfortunately Michael Mocho tried to come back into the pits again, but Quark's car is still there. But I don't think, well, Mocho was not really getting anything out this race. He was already several laps down. So unfortunately he's going to be stuck there for the rest of the race by the looks of it. As now Waze Kuba comes in for his final stop of the Grand Prix, the leader of the race. He will obviously be fueled to the end. There's a Williams that has just gone into the pits in front of him. That's probably Adam Wolf, I reckon. As Kuba comes out of the pits. As Sam Thompson is in the pits. That was actually Sam Thompson, I should say, not Adam Wolf. As Waze Kuba comes out. A 7-second stop from Ferrari there. So that was also pretty quick as well, I have to say. So let's see where he will come out. But it looks like, well, overall he should come out in the lead unless he has any major problems. Waze Kuba coming out in 4th place. It looks like Sam Thompson down to 60, obviously a lap down. Will Kuba come out in front of Mackenzie? It looks like he will. As we look at the 2 Lotuses, unfortunately that will still be in the camera view. Is now Robert Ionescu is going to come into the pits, and this will be interesting because Ionescu's his pit is right behind Mocho, so Ionescu could be affected like his teammate here if he's not careful, and I think that could happen. And here it is, because look, Michael Mocho is blocking his pit exit. So here we go. Let's see, ladies and gents, and yep, the expected has happened. So Ionescu is now going to have to do the same thing Carr did, shove him out the way. And let's see how long it will take Ionescu to get past. But it looks like those chances of points have gone, and Ionescu will be absolutely furious about that. And oh yes, they finally got him moving, and now they've got him to move. But now Mocho is kind of inside his mechanics right now, and he's having his stop taken, I think. And is he going to be let go? And yes, he is, although he's still stuck with Quark's car, but he's got going eventually. But that was less time than actually the first one, only 12 minutes that time, or 13 actually, technically. But now Will Nella comes for his final stop in the OC, and oh, and there's the Red Bull stopped in front of him here. What is going on there? And Florian Volker has stopped right in front of Will Nella coming out the pits, as he must have stalled the car, as Volker has now eventually got going. But that will have cost Nella surely a chance of the podium, but I don't know what was going on with Volker there. He stalled coming out the pits, it looked like. I don't really know what else was happening there, because there was no cars really close to him, because Nello had still ages to go coming out his pit box. But let's have a look at that again. So Volker coming into the pits, Nello obviously came in behind. But I mean, I don't know how far or how close I think Nello was behind him. So I mean, it looked like it was okay for that, and I think he still had plenty of time to get out, because I mean, he was already literally on the red line. And then for some reason he just stalled, and eventually of course he actually managed to get it going. So are we going to have another view from the Volker thing? I don't know, but unfortunately that has affected Nella's chance for podium probably with that. But oh my goodness me, that was very dramatic scenes. I mean, many people probably think that was scripting to probably ruin his race there. I don't know, but anyway, Jay McKenzie now comes to the pits for his final stop of the Grand Prix for Renault. So let's see how quick the stop will be for the Polish driver, who will be partnering, of course, George Roque, back to the old days when they were at Sauber. And it was good times for them, so let's hope they can recreate those good times at Renault, considering how horrendous Roque's season has been. as he comes out the pit. Jordan Maturin comes into the pits for his final time. Oh, Mackenzie always had to wait there for Maturin to come out of the pits there. That will have cost him time. So Maturin comes into the pits for his final stop of the season for the Grand Prix. See how quick the stop will be for him. Nicholas Gow is actually still on the point at this moment in time. He's actually managed to recover the sixth. It's amazing. And oh, Waze Kuba has got a problem. And Waze Kuba, who is set to win this race, and with just 8 laps to go, is having to come into the pits with a transmission problem. And that has surely gifted the win to James Willows out in front. Dramatic scenes here. Many people probably think that's scripting there, as Will Nenner, I think he's probably set to get a podium unless Nenner has dropped so far behind. But oh my goodness me, that is unbelievable scenes. Kuba, who is set to win this race, having taken the lead from Joseph Willows early on, has been denied, and that is the answer. Will Nenner has got a podium here. Many people are going to think that is scripting or team orders there to pretend to have a problem, but I don't know really. But Kuba comes out the pits. He's dropped down to 4th place, and Nenner is in 3rd, which will delight probably, well, most of the OC paddock and the crowd as well. His final race, just to make it even more sweeter for him, and also to secure 3rd in the championship as well, because there was a battle in the championship between Nenner and Gow. As Kuba comes out the pits, as now we are on the final lap of this Grand Prix. Not as much action as we probably had hoped for this race, but still a fair amount of action nonetheless. But here is your race leader. James Willows has got a 10-second gap over Volker, so he has really stretched that out front. The rain that we thought may come during this race, it never did came, despite a pretty high chance of that weather coming as he comes into the infield section for the final time. James Willows, he probably will be hard done by that he maybe didn't get the OC title this season, having won 5 races, and if he wins this, that will mean he will have won 6 races to Volker's 4. But the overall factor in Volker winning the championship is he's been so much more consistent than Volker. It took him over 10 races before Volker actually didn't either score points or was on the podium, and even though when James Willows was winning races and Volker was retiring, he was still so far in front that it didn't actually really matter. He could have won the title 2 races ago than Abu Dhabi, but it doesn't matter anyway. James Willows is going to come over and he will win the final round of the 2010 GP4 Offline Championship. Congratulations to him. He'll get 2nd place in the championship, although we already knew it was confirmed. But at least that will mean a Red Bull 1-2 as Florian Volker, your 2010 champion, comes across the line. Congratulations to him once again for winning the title. But here is Will Nenner in his final Grand Prix. Will take 3rd place and will secure 3rd place in the driver's standings. Well done to him. And Waze Kuba, unfortunately, the win cruelly snatched from his grasp. He'll come home in 4th place. Michael Mocho does finish the race in the end 20th, although he most likely won't be classified because he's finished so many laps down. As Jay McKenzie comes along the line in 5th. George Rote is set to come home in 16th place. Not been a great season for him. And Finnish Strachan is set to take 6th place. A very impressive drive from the Scotsman there in his last race, as he will be moving to the DTM as he was without a drive for next season. Amar Khan comes home in 17th. Mikhail Gow does come home in the points, amazingly, in 7th place despite his horrendous pace. 8th place will be Evan Byrne. Felix Sontag just outside of the points in 9th place. And Alex Southgate is set to come home in 10th. For Mercedes, not been a great list for Mercedes, but Southgate will finish above Sontag in the points, only just though. Robert Ionescu comes home in 11th place. Alan Wolf will come home in 12th. Kellyan Bryce will come home in 19th place in his final race, although he will be, of course, McLaren test driver for next season as he comes across the line. But there is your winner, James Willows. But here is Will Nenner in his final Grand Prix, a fitting tribute to a fantastic racer in the OC. Definitely the best driver to have never won a championship. He could have won it several times, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for him. And I bet that, unfortunately, will be gutting for him, but at least he'll be known as one of the greatest drivers in the series. Hopefully he'll come back at some point, because I imagine all the OC paddock will miss him. But it's been great seeing him in the championship, but obviously he will move on to other commitments, which is obviously the IndyCar Offline Championship. But anyway, here are the full race results. So James Willows wins with Volker 2nd, Nenner 3rd, Kuba 4th, Mackenzie 5th, Strachan 6th, Gal 7th, and Byrne 8th. The following drivers outside of the points: Sontag, Southgate, Ionescu, and Wolf. And the following drivers are lap down: Moitian, Holst, Thompson, Roke, Carr, Maturin, and Bryce, with Mocho not classified. Quag obviously retired as well, and Joseph Willows crashed out of the race. The fastest lap for the final race of the season was in the end given to Waze Kuba, who took the fastest lap by 3/10. And then Mackenzie 3rd, impressive from Mackenzie there, I should say. Joseph Willows 4th with his brother James in 5th, Burns 6th, Nenner 7th, Ionescu 8th, Strachan 9th, Felix Sontag 10th, Alex Southgate 11th, Rodolphe Moitian in 12th, Holst 13th, Wolf 14th, Carr 15th, Thompson 16th, Roke, Gale, Maturin, Mocho, Bryce, and of course Quag in last position. But here are your final driver standings for the 2010 season. Florian Volker wins the championship with 117 points, with Willows with Willows on 106, 11 points behind. Will did get third in the championship ahead of Miklos Gal and Kuba, who was just 1 point behind. Does Willows finish in 6th with 54. At Southgate, 7th with 43, just beats his teammate Sontag by just 1 point. Very close battle there. Evan Byrne came 9th, beating his teammate Mackenzie also by 1 point, 29 to 28. Moyton 11th with 17. Strachan and Thompson with 14, 12th, 13th. Wool 14th with 11, Holst 15th with 11, Roke 16th with 6, Mocho 17th with 4, Carr with 4, Inescu with 3, Maturin with 1 point, with Rowan Quagg and Kaelin Bryce the only drivers in the series to score no points. And it's unfortunate there for Jordan Maturin, as this will be his final race in the OC after just one season, having failed to secure a drive for next season with, of course, Javier Quinlan, or Javier Quinlan, however you pronounce it, and Sean Grant to come in and replace him next season. But here are the final team standings. So Red Bull win with 223 points, Ferrari second with 160, McLaren third with 131, Mercedes fourth with 85, Renault fifth with 57, Williams sixth with 25, Sauber with 25 as well, Force India 8th with 23, Torosso 9th with 7 points, and Lotus 10th with 4 points, and of course Virgin with 1 point, meaning that all teams have scored a point this season. Well, that is it. That is the end of the 2010 season. It's been an unbelievable season, and I thank you all for watching this series. I'd like to give a few thank yous to Yuri for hosting what has been a great season, going from strength to strength, and a big thank you to Az, of course, who's come back in the series making these great graphics, also having another part in the series, so we'll look forward to the season review after it. I'd like to thank all the other guys who commentated. That's the Grime Lloyd, Ollie Glazebrook, JD Ref1, and Ryan Kuba. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and thank you all for signing up to this series. It's been fantastic. It's going from strength to strength. I'm thoroughly looking forward to the season, which will be in 2 weeks' time at the Australian Grand Prix at Melbourne, back to the beginning. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you for the 2011 season, which is, of course, in Australia. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.